Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll be learning Excel from the very basics. If you're new to Excel, this is the video for you. Kindly pay attention as this video will help you to start up properly with the use of Excel. The Excel version I'm going to be using is 2016, but even if you're using a higher or even a lower version, you don't have to panic, you don't have to worry. Uh, they're basically the same, no so much difference. So I'm going to be launching my Excel. So when you open your Excel, this is the kind of interface you're going to have. Sometimes you might have more templates, but in my case, I just have the blank workbook and one template. So if you see a couple of templates when you open your own, you can choose any of the template that might relate more to what you want to do. But as a beginner, it might be better to use the blank workbook. So again, you can also search for the kind of template you want by just typing here or looking at if you want to do business or if it's a personal stuff, planners, trackers, lists, budgets. It's either you type it here or you can use from this search suggestion. So assuming I want to do some business stuff, I click on business and it's going to load some business templates for me, right? But for the sake of this course, we're going to be using the blank book. So we're going to be using the blank book. We'll go back and say blank book. When you open your Excel 2016, you're going to see these guys here. They are called the tabs. So these are tabs. This is a home tab, a start tab, page layout tab, formula tab, data tab, review tab, and so on. So if we come to the home tab, you're going to see the ribbons. These are the ribbons, the different ribbons. And each ribbon is categorized into groups. So this is clipboard group, font group, alignment group, and so on. Same way when you come to insert, you see different groups and like that. So if you go back to the home tab, if you're going to see this drop down here, shows you have more information or more ribbons, all of that. So you can click on it to get more ribbons, right? Because in some cases, the area might not be enough to have all the ribbons at a go. And these ribbons and tabs are the places where you have the tools that are really going to help you to do your job in Excel really well. So having learnt about the ribbons and tabs and the groups, we'll go to the data sheet itself. The Excel sheet is made up of columns and rows. The intersection of one column and a row is called a cell. This is a cell, and this cell is called cell B2 because you have the column B intersecting with the row 2. So that's why this cell is called cell B2, for instance. So each of the cell have a name, or each of the cells have a name. So we also have some group of cells. This is a group of cell. Each group of cell is called a range. So a group of cell might look like this, might look like this, might look like this. So each of them is given a name. This range, for instance, is called D4 G9. So it's written in this manner: D4 column G9. So this is the name of this range. That's how you name a range. So in Excel, you could have more than one sheet. So for example, here we have sheet 1. You can also click here to create another sheet. You can create another sheet, different sheets. So combination of sheets make up the workbook, right? The Excel workbook. So you can have different sheets in one Excel workbook. Okay, now let's try to enter some data and see how we can manipulate this data and work on it. So assuming we have a data, we can say serial number SN. Let's use a data that says countries that have won World Cup. I mean, like the data for World Cup, World Cup history. So if we say year of the World Cup, say what country, um, the winner for that year, say who was the runner-up, runners-up, who. So you see what happens here. We have the runner-up, reaching runner-up. It looks as if it's spilling into the next cell. No, the data is actually contained, is stored in cell E2, not in. It didn't spill into F2. So you see that when I write in F2, which is let's say the most valuable player for the World Cup. So you see that I had my space to write. It didn't, it did not affect this one. Now you see that some part of this data is hidden now, right? So that's what we have. So have here. So what you can do here is you can click on this intersection between G and F, to try to adjust this. If you click here, you can adjust. Right. And enter the year and other information. So assuming you want to enter which year this first World Cup was hosted. So assuming we're on year and you want to go down to enter the year. So what you just do is to click enter and it goes down. Right. If you want to go back up, just hold shift and click enter again, it goes up. Right. So let's go down, enter, right? And you just type 1994 World Cup, for example. If you want to say, okay, which country hosted the World Cup, you use the tab button. So you just click tab and it goes to the country and we say, okay, it was USA. You go click tab again, it goes right again. You say, who was the winner of that 1994 World Cup? It was Brazil, right? So who was the runner-up? It was Italy. Italy. So who was the best player in the World Cup? Was Romario. So assuming you want to go back left, so what you do is instead of clicking the tab, you hold shift and click tab, and we can go and add the serial number 1, right? So the same way we want to go down, it goes down when you click enter, and you can put second serial number. So what year? We have 1998. Tab. What country hosted France? And so on. So you're gonna give me a moment so that I can just populate the data and then we'll come back and continue. All right, welcome back. Now we have the data and maybe we want to give it a heading, say World Cup history. World Cup history. Okay. So see the way it is. So let's try and see how we can make the data better, right? So that's the essence of this video. So now we have runner up here. So and we'll have some data that are hiding, like you see this one, it's extending to other cells, right? So if we want to make all of them cool, so you can select all of them at once to the last column, then you can just click in between any column to align it, to resize the cells so that they can unhide whatever data that is hidden, right? So double click on the intersection between two columns. I see, right? So we have this. That's one way. So another way is to hold one and drag it, right? So that's another way, right? So that's how to, resize this. Now you can decide to align them. You can say, okay, let me align these ones by clicking here. You can center them, center your data, right? Now there's something we'll do. The heading will not just be here, so we want to centralize it. So select the heading and take it to the last row here, and come here under the alignment group on the home tab. You see merge and center. Click on merge and center. What you see is that, okay, we've aligned this. You see, we have the World Cup history at the center, and that's the heading of this data. Okay, so now we can realign this back, right? So one thing I want to quickly say is, if you learn how to use your keyboard instead of your mouse, you tend to be faster. You tend to, you know, be more flexible with your Excel. So that, for example, when I say, okay, use shift tab to, use tab to go right, use shift tab to go left, use enter to go down, or use shift enter to go up, right? You can also use the arrow buttons too to go up and down. So there's one other thing, you can stay in a cell or on the cell. If I click here, I'm on the cell. If I click here, I'm on the cell. But I can try to go into the cell by double clicking in the cell. You enter the cell, you can adjust stuff, right? If you want to just adjust, something locally in a cell instead of just changing everything in a cell. So that's how to go in a cell. You double click to enter a cell. But if you click once, you just be on the cell. Whatever change I make here, if I delete, everything goes, right, at once. So that's that. That's the difference between staying in a cell and staying on a cell. All right. So we can also decide to make these serial numbers, put them by the side, just like this, right? So you can do a lot of stuff. You can arrange your data in the way that it will make sense. So one thing we can also do is to bold in the headings, these column headings like this. You can also increase the font size from here, right? So I mean, to make it a bit different from what we have here, right? So you can increase it if you want. This you can also bold in this one, increase it, right? You can italize. You can try to italize these guys this manner, right? Put them in italics format, right? You can also increase the font size of this ones a bit if you want, right? So this is how to do this. So you can also insert a row. If I right click here, I can insert a row. Say insert, you create a row for me, assuming I want to there's something I needed to add between the serial number 2 and serial number 3. So I can insert a row in between them, right? So let me undo. I can also insert a column. If I right click and say insert, I can insert a column if I needed to add something here. That's a column that I've inserted, right? So these are to then we can also decide to put them in a table, right? In a table format, and say you can highlight all of them. To highlight, you just click at some point, then drag your mouse, or you can do Control A to select everything, right? So you come to the font group. Under the font group, you're going to see this ribbon here, you drop it down, you see all borders. So, so put them in a table format, right? We can do insert here so that will bring this down. You can appreciate it better. Insert, it comes down, right? And you can insert here to put it at the center, you see, right? You can decide to bolden this place and come here and do this that I have. You can also decide to bolden these sides and you have something like this. Okay, assuming you want to underline, say this word, you can select it and click on the U underline here and it will get underlined. Now these are different ways you can, work on your data and put them in a format that befits what you want to do with them or that will make them more presentable. Right? You mustn't put them in a table, but if you feel you want to put your data in a table, this is a way to do that. Okay, so we've learned how to, launch your Excel, how to select the templates, and we also looked at the different tabs and ribbons and groups, right? We'll come into the Excel sheets. We understood where we have the columns and the rows, what to call the cell, the groups, and how to enter your data, manipulate your data, change the font size of your data, realign your data, resize your columns and rows, and so on. So I believe this has been helpful, and going forward, we'll do more videos to actually go deeper, more advanced into Excel, how to use functions, how to use formulas, how to manipulate your data, and a lot more. So kindly subscribe to my YouTube video as we'll have a lot in stock for you. Thank you for watching. If you have a comment or something you want me to talk about, drop it in the comment section and I'll attend to it. Thank you.